Welcome to Friday's Market Wrap-Up here at Top Gun Options. Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz, and interesting week, but I think the highlight really is, folks, the death, or the reputed death, of the Trump rally was greatly over-exaggerated by, of course, the people that got all this wrong to begin with. I told you, folks, with the implosion of the healthcare, just like a Brexit move, the market's not going to care in 2 to 3 days, and we were right. Market doesn't care because they know healthcare is a train wreck, and he shouldn't have done that in the first place. But now we're back on he's going to get tax reform done. He's going to get his Supreme Court guy in. How they make the sausages might not be beautiful watching it, but it's going to happen. So Trump trades back on. We called I called a bounce off this 50-day moving average, and this is a buying opportunity. JP Morgan said, hey, until the market abandons hope for tax deal, there would be no significant weakness. B of A, our clients bought the dip. Shocker. And here's the Dudley yesterday, one of the Fed lieutenants. You can be forgiven for being really confused after 2 weeks ago a dovish Janet Yellen. From everything I've read and talked to people, she didn't want to sound that dovish. It came across like that. So 2 other Fed lieutenants came out and said, well, hey, markets are getting frothy, valuations, things might come down. Oh, geez, okay. Told you this Trump trade's over with. That's right around here. And then Dudley comes out yesterday. No, I don't think we're removing the punch bowl yet. Confused yet? Exactly. So this, in the absence, and I've talked about this white space a lot, and I'm just going to keep reminding people, broken clocks right twice a day, but out here in this white space to the downside is North Korea. You look at the front of the Drudge Report right now, and it says Secretary Mattis says, North Korea must be stopped. That's a pretty big headline. So it disappeared off of the front pages for about a week there because of healthcare. There you go, Mattis. North Korea must be stopped. So out in this white space is North Korea, Iran, Russia, and the Trump agenda not being able to get through. I'd move the Trump agenda not being able to get through up here to a net neutral. Something's going to happen with tax reform. The financial deregulation and gutting of Franken-Dodd, Steve Mnuchin doesn't need Congress to do that. He can do that with a stroke of a pen. So this thing's back on, folks. This was way oversold here. Told you to BTFD. A lot of you, that was a new term since we really didn't have one of these of late. There's the inauguration, or the sell the inauguration. There's the or State of the Union. There's the travel ban fiasco that people are like, oh my God, that's awful for his presidency. I'm like, what are you kidding? We're not going to care in an hour. And then the market had a rip your face off rally. So folks, we're having a good time here. We're going to talk about next week why emerging markets are looking better than the USA. And we've got a couple of these. We've got our China on, we've got our Brazil on, and these are still good trades. I even have my Russia on, and maybe I'll be called in front of the Senate to testify about why I have positions in the RSX. Speaking of that, folks, this stuff, like if the roles were reversed and this were a Democratic president and an outgoing Republican did this, it should be breaking news. But all this stuff, it's clear that the Obama administration in the final days raced to secure and preserve all the stuff they collected during the transition on the incoming president. And they set up landmines and this whole deep state thing. Look at this. WikiLeaks strikes again. WikiLeaks release shows how the CIA uses computer code to hide the origins of its hacking attacks and disguise them as Russian or Chinese activity. So this whole Democrat and liberal stupidity of the Russians interfered in our elections, it could have been the CIA. Okay? You guys know me, I predicted the Trump win and the Trump market rally. Maybe the CIA was seeing the same things here in the fall, like we're not going to believe the liberal media. We actually know what's going on in the United States, and he's most likely going to win. So let's start, maybe I'll leave it at this, folks. It's interesting because when you look at the fundamentals of this market are good, but it's this crap that's going to the market doesn't like uncertainty, right? So this is uncertainty. And when you have a deep state, or whatever we call this thing, pulling the strings, man, this is, it's like an episode of 24 or whatever. Hollywood couldn't write better stuff like this. So the underlying macro position's fine. Now there's a University of Michigan what was it? University of Michigan conference measure disappoints amid rising uncertainty due to the partisan divide. So that's the uncertainty that kind of worries me a little bit, and you can put it in the white space out there as well, that the market's just kind of shrugging its shoulders like these guys are an absolute clown car and they can't get anything done. But that's actually certainty, right? I mean, all the predictions from Citi and Goldman that if Trump won, the market would implode 10%. It didn't happen because the market likes stability and certainty, and Hillary would be a continuation of Obama. Well, that turned out not to be true. So I think, you know, I'm a 50 delta on whether or not this stuff really gets to the market or we just don't care. As long as, what's his name saying, hey, we ain't taking the punch bowl away anytime soon and the Fed's going to be dovish and accommodative, we go up, man. It is a melt up. Again, JP Morgan nailed it, or we nailed it. Until the market abandons hope for tax deal, no significant weakness. So very happy with our portfolios. I think I put a Goldman Sachs bear call spread on for the week. That's looking pretty good. The 230 to... what was it, 232 and a half or something? I didn't get filled on it, but that's looking pretty good right there. That'll be a max profit for those that get filled on that. And I told you, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs were gifts on this pullback. This pullback right here to Goldman Sachs, if you were in our live trade briefs this week, said load the boat with JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. They're going to get back on the horse here and not look back. Okay? But anyway, all right, folks, I got to run. Have a great rest of your weekend. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and I'll be back with Monday's market outlook. We'll see.